Today we'll be taking a look at 3 trouble-free Japanese SUVs. When people think of trouble-free vehicles, Japanese cars are the first to come to mind. However, these 3 engineering marvels aren't just trouble-free, they're also powerful and dynamic. The vehicle at the top of our list will surprise all SUV enthusiasts. In third place is the Mazda CX-5. Mazda could have added a turbo to the CX-5. They didn't, and that decision explains why this vehicle is on the list. The standard engine is a naturally aspirated 2.5-liter 4-cylinder Skyactiv G. It produces 187 horsepower. The turbocharged version, however, delivers 256 horsepower. But the real story here isn't the numbers, it's the architecture. Mazda achieved fuel efficiency without a turbo by utilizing a high compression ratio and redesigning the exhaust system. A turbo means extra heat, extra stress, and an extra point of failure. The CX-5 has none of these. The engine operates under low stress for hours on end. Less stress means a longer lifespan. Simple math. The CX-5 is built on Mazda's Skyactiv vehicle architecture platform. This platform is rigid, lightweight, and exceptionally torsionally strong. Body rigidity enhances driving quality while preventing structural fatigue over the long term. An important point. Mazda used this platform in multiple vehicles at the same time. The CX-5, Mazda 3, and Mazda 6. This means the components have been tested in millions of units. There are no weak points left. The CX-5 does not use a CVT. Read that sentence again. While Nissan and Subaru switched to CVTs, Mazda stuck with the traditional 6-speed torque converter automatic. CVTs are belt-driven, heat-sensitive, and start causing problems at high mileage. Mazda's transmission? Mechanically simple, easy to maintain, reliable. The driving feel is different too. The way power is delivered to the wheels is direct and predictable. This transmission is what lies behind that Mazda feel that connects the driver to the car. Do you think the world's most reliable transmission is the torque converter-based transmission? McPherson struts up front, multi-link suspension in the rear. A classic, proven combination. Mazda has kept things simple here as well. No active air suspension, no sensor-dependent electronic systems. Driving quality is achieved through a well-tuned passive suspension. Fewer potential failure points. Lower maintenance costs. On Reddit and automotive forums, CX-5 owners constantly write things like, "Still no major issues at 150,000 kilometers." Or, "All I've done is oil changes and tire rotations." One owner wrote, "I've been driving a CX-5 for 5 years. I took it to an independent shop for its first major service. Nothing else needed to be done." These comments aren't exceptions. They're the norm. The moment you step inside the CX-5, you forget its price. The materials are above its class. Soft touch surfaces, neat stitching, and metal look accents. Most competitors charge an extra $10,000 to achieve this level of quality. The seats are the kind that don't tire you out even on long drives. The cargo area is practical. When the rear seats are folded down, you get a flat floor. The only criticism, the infotainment system isn't touchscreen based. It uses a rotary control. Some people don't like this. But this is a design choice. Mazda designed it this way to prevent the driver's attention from being distracted. Most people, however, prefer it because touchscreens can be difficult to adjust while driving, and the mechanical controls are easier for users. The average annual maintenance cost is approximately $400 to $500. This is well below the average for the compact SUV segment. In fact, it's about half the cost. Parts are readily available, and any service center can perform maintenance. No specialized technician is required. The CX-5 is a car that looks ordinary on the outside but is truly exceptional on the inside. No turbo, no CVT, no unnecessary electronics. Just solid engineering, high-quality materials, and long-term reliability. The story of a CX-5 that has clocked 200,000 kilometers without a hitch isn't an exception. It's the norm. It's third on the list because its competitors go a step further. But if you want a trouble-free vehicle while staying within your budget, the CX-5 is the right choice. The Mazda CX-5 is a good car, but Honda is in a league of its own when it comes to reliability. In second place is the Honda CRV. The CRV is one of the best-selling compact SUVs worldwide. And that's no coincidence. Honda has refined this vehicle over decades. With each generation, it has addressed the weaknesses of the previous one. What do we have today? A mechanically mature vehicle that never lets the driver down. The latest generation of the CRV comes with two engine options. The first is a 1.5-liter turbocharged four-cylinder, 190 horsepower, 240 newton-meters of torque. Impressive figures for a compact engine. But what matters here isn't the numbers, it's how Honda has calibrated this engine. It's tuned to deliver power at low RPMs. In city traffic, the engine doesn't strain itself. An engine that doesn't strain lasts longer. The second and true star, the hybrid version. A 2.0-liter naturally aspirated Atkinson cycle engine combines with two electric motors. Total system power is 204 horsepower. Fuel consumption in the city puts its competitors to shame. But more importantly, the hybrid system is mechanically extremely simple. Honda's two-motor hybrid system virtually eliminates the need for a traditional transmission. The electric motor delivers power directly to the wheels. Fewer moving parts. Fewer moving parts mean fewer breakdowns. The CRV is built on Honda's global compact platform architecture. This platform is shared with the Honda Civic, and that's a key point. The Civic is one of the world's best-selling cars. The platform has been tested in millions of units, and its weaknesses have been addressed over the years. The CRV builds on this legacy. Body rigidity is maintained at a high level. Structural fatigue rarely causes issues, even at high mileage. In crash tests, the CRV consistently ranks among the top performers. The turbocharged version uses a continuously variable transmission, CVT. You need to pause here because when people hear CVT, different brands come to mind. Honda's CVT cannot be compared to Nissan's. Honda has been refining this system for decades. The thermal management is different. The internal components are stronger. The failure rate at high mileage is significantly lower than that of competitors. The hybrid version, however, does not use a CVT. The electric motor utilizes an eCVT system that transmits power directly to the wheels. This is not a CVT in the traditional sense. There is no belt, no pulley, and no clutch. Just planetary gears. It's the same principle Toyota has been using in the Prius for decades. Proven, reliable. McPherson struts up front, multi-link independent suspension in the rear. The CRV keeps things simple here as well. The suspension tuning is impressive. It's neither too firm nor too soft. It absorbs city bumps, and body roll remains controlled through corners. Honda has worked for generations to achieve this balance. The suspension components have a long lifespan. Looking at service records after 150,000 kilometers, major repair costs related to the suspension are rarely seen in the CRV. CRV owners have a distinct character compared to other car communities. They don't give up on their vehicles. A common comment on automotive forums goes like this: "It's hit 220,000 kilometers. Friends are telling me to replace it, but why should I?" Another wrote, "I've been driving a CRV for 10 years. The biggest expenses I've had so far are wheel alignment and brake pads. Nothing else has come up." This owner profile is the strongest proof of the vehicle's reliability. The CRV's interior is designed with practical ingenuity. Storage compartments are placed in every corner. The rear seat area is among the roomiest in its class. The trunk capacity is large enough to make daily life easier. The materials don't feel as premium as those in the CX-5, but they're high quality, durable, and the kind that won't deteriorate over the years. After 100,000 kilometers, the plastics won't crack and the upholstery won't wear out. The rear seats in the hybrid version sit a bit higher. This is because the battery pack is mounted under the seats. Some drivers notice this, but most don't. The average annual maintenance cost is around $400 to $450. It's in the same league as the CX-5. Parts are widely available. Honda's service network is extensive. Independent shops can easily perform maintenance in addition to authorized service centers. The brake pads on the hybrid version are particularly noteworthy. The regenerative braking system reduces the load on the mechanical brakes. Pad life can be up to twice as long as in standard vehicles. The Honda CRV is a vehicle in which reliability has been systematically engineered into every aspect. When you consider the engine calibration, the maturity of the platform, the hybrid system, and owner reviews, a consistent picture emerges: trouble-free, predictable, and long-lasting. It's second on the list because there's one more vehicle, and that vehicle plays in a different league. At the top of the list is the Toyota Land Cruiser. You've seen two great vehicles. Now it's time to see the legend. The Toyota Land Cruiser is where the debate over reliability ends. Other vehicles are described as reliable. The Land Cruiser, however, is defined by reliability itself. UN humanitarian aid organizations use it. The military uses it. It's used in the Sahara, in Siberia, in the Amazon. Because breaking down isn't in the Land Cruiser's vocabulary. The Land Cruiser's engine options vary by generation, but the philosophy never changes: simplicity and durability. The 300 series, the current model, comes with a 3.5-liter twin-turbo V6. This engine, designated V35A-FTS, produces 415 horsepower and 650 newton-meters of torque. The numbers are impressive, but what's truly impressive is how this engine is built. Toyota has over-engineered this engine. The cooling system is oversized. The internal components are heavier than necessary. The tolerances are tighter than required. This excess multiplies the engine's lifespan. Under normal operating conditions, a Land Cruiser engine experiences stress far below its capacity. The previous generation 200 series offered a 4.5-liter twin-turbo diesel and a 4.6-liter V8 gasoline engine. Some of these engines run like clockwork: 400,000, 500,000, or even 600,000 kilometers without ever needing an overhaul. The Land Cruiser is not a passenger SUV. It features a body-on-frame construction. In other words, the body is mounted on a separate chassis. This architecture is far more durable than the monocoque structure seen in modern crossovers. It distributes the load differently and absorbs impacts differently. In harsh off-road conditions, the chassis doesn't bend and the body doesn't shake. The Land Cruiser's chassis is related to the Tundra pickup. A platform with pickup truck origins handles use as a family vehicle with almost no strain. A chassis operating at just 30% of its capacity provides trouble-free service for decades. The 300 series comes with a 10-speed automatic transmission. It is manufactured by Toyota itself. The torque capacity has been kept high. Gear shifts are smooth, and the response time is predictable. The 6-speed automatic used in the 200 series has now achieved legendary status. Cases of it operating for hundreds of thousands of kilometers without requiring maintenance have been documented. When the transmission fluid is changed regularly, this system becomes virtually indestructible. The all-wheel drive system is based on mechanical locking. It's not electronic simulation. It's a real mechanical differential lock. There are no sensors to fail, and no algorithms requiring software updates. Pull the lever, and the lock engages. The 300 series features a double wishbone suspension up front and a solid axle suspension in the rear. This combination delivers both ride comfort and off-road capability at the same time. The solid axle is the preferred design for off-road SUVs. Why? Because it's simple. Fewer components mean fewer potential failure points. Compared to independent suspension, it's easier to maintain and has a longer lifespan. The suspension geometry is calibrated for heavy loads and rough terrain. Under normal use, these components show virtually no wear. Major expenses related to the Land Cruiser's suspension are rarely seen in service records. Comments from Land Cruiser owners convey a different vibe than those in other car communities. It's not about pride of ownership, but a quiet confidence. One owner wrote, "I have a 2003 Model 100 Series, 520,000 kilometers. The engine is original, the transmission is original. The only thing I've done is regular oil changes." Another comment, "I sold my car and regretted it. The car I bought was newer, more high-tech, but there's nothing like a Land Cruiser. I came back." These vehicles are passed down from family to family. They're sold from country to country, because their lifespan simply can't be exhausted. The 300 Series interior represents the pinnacle of refinement in Land Cruiser history. A 12.3-inch touchscreen, digital instrument cluster, 4-zone climate control, and massage seats. But what sets the Land Cruiser apart isn't technology, it's quality. The materials don't deteriorate even decades later. When you look inside a 15-year-old Land Cruiser, you don't see a vehicle with cracked plastics or faded upholstery. There are signs of use, but no wear and tear. This distinction is important. The third-row seats are cramped. That's a well-known fact. But those who buy the Land Cruiser for the third row are in the minority. This vehicle is purchased for long journeys, rugged terrain, and moments when you need reliability. We need to be honest here. The Land Cruiser's annual maintenance costs are higher than those of the CX-5 and CRV. A big engine, a big vehicle, more fluids, larger filters. But when comparing high-mileage scenarios, the picture flips. While a German competitor at 300,000 kilometers requires thousands of dollars in overhauls, suspension repairs, and electronic fixes, the Land Cruiser is still in its routine maintenance cycle. In the long run, the total cost of ownership remains lower than that of its competitors. The Land Cruiser isn't just a vehicle, it's a commitment. Toyota didn't build this vehicle to be good enough. As a product of extreme engineering, it operates well below its limits in everyday use. That's why it never breaks down. That's why it serves generation after generation. That's why it tops the list. If you're looking for the pinnacle of Japanese engineering, you already know the answer. It's always the same.